Hello everybody, and welcome back to Northern Lights. That was a fun party we went to, right? Have any of you, like when you guys were in college, since I know that you are all grown adults post-college, did any of you ever go to like those kind of things? I like heard about them around like the school that I went to. Granted, it wasn't like a dorm style like college, big university. Nah, I went to a community college. But yeah, I would still hear about people going like, "Oh yeah, we'll go partying or whatever," because there was like several bars within like driving distance and stuff. So like, yeah, I would hear about stuff like that or people attending the parties, but never did that myself. Never even once. Not my thing, probably. Maybe I would have if I was ever invited, but we don't have that happen here, right? Right. Climbing out of bed, the smell grows stronger. Devin was still slumbering on the couch. I then tilted my head, taking a deep whiff. Smoke? 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 Weird. Somewhat alarmed by the realization, but drawn to it, I left the apartment, slowly making my way down the stairs. A pulsing yellow and orange glow was visible through the frosted glass panel on the back door, rolling smoke under it. I hurriedly opened the door and rushed outside, stumbling into the old street I've seen 1,000 times. However, what lay before me now strayed far from the usual sight. Oh? Look at that, it's like all burning to the ground. I could clearly see my hometown movie theater getting consumed by a raging inferno. Massive flames bursting through the roof, out the front doors, ash in the air, falling like snow. Marquee posters on the walls crumbling, turning to cinders. Oh, okay. The glass on the ticket booth exploded outwards, showering the familiar sidewalk on which I'd spent so much time with Tobin and Liam, waiting to buy tickets for the latest blockbuster. The larger marquee over the entrance remained intact, but just as I read the words, Curse the Awakening, the fire begins to take over it as well, the letters dramatically dropping to the sidewalk below. I can only watch, not even blinking, frozen in place in utter despair. This was supposed to be my big night. I can barely mutter the words. My directorial debut was literally gone up in flames before my eyes. The fire raged on, without a single siren piercing the air, because no one was coming to save my childhood theater, to save my career. This is how it would always end. This was my future. What was even the point of getting to art school? Of making my movies? In that disastrous moment of defeat, though, I knew I wasn't alone. There was someone right behind me. A silent spectator loomed over me, a rancid breath rolling down my back. I wanted to look back, but I couldn't take my eyes off of the theater, as sections of it began to collapse. Right when I've nearly forgotten about the lingering presence, I notice a steady, sickeningly dripping sound. It gradually replaced the noise of the fire, a rapid but consistent beat to every drop. I wanted to stop, to close my eyes, to make the fire disappear, but I couldn't. I had to watch. I had to witness my dreams turn to ash, everything I wanted get torched. This is what it will all amount to. I assume that's his dad? Maybe. Oh, okay. I was trapped in that moment, transfixed in the middle of the street, by a fire that had become my everything. My very existence set ablaze by hot cinders, ash, lapped by the fires of Hades. What? Oh, Aldric! Cody? Why are you standing in the street? The figure grew closer, and I could feel a wetness on my right shoulder. It was thick, warm, running down my front. Oh, okay. Oh, how do they do that? Look at that. The letters are like doing a thingy thing. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I was finally able to look away from the devouring blaze. For the briefest of moments, it was blood was trickling down my chest. Right then, a paw laid on my shoulder. I screamed louder than I'd ever done in my life, practically crying out to the heavens. I damn near jumped out of my fur, almost falling forward, believing that whoever I felt behind me had finally made its move. Oh. Ah. This was until I realized it was Aldric. His face looking more concerned than ever before. Tears began streaming down my face, and I immediately hugged Aldric, tightly burying my sorrow into his fur, utterly terrified and confused as to what was going on. Even with my eyes closed, it was like I could still see a ghost of a vision, the flickering embers of the burning expelling its last breath. Whoa, Cody! It's okay! Aldrich wrapped an arm around me, fingers gently tracing small circles between my shoulders. He stood in the road with me, holding me close, as my tears soaked his chest. I didn't want to let go, to stop crying, and I certainly didn't want to look up, terrified that the nightmare would return. Aldrich led me by a paw back inside the building, my steps sluggish. I was ready to collapse on the floor at any moment, and just let my emotions completely take over. Slumping against the wall of the staircase, halfway up, I started sobbing harder, shaking furiously. The shepherd pulled me away from the wall, arm around my back, helping me get back into the apartment. Oh. That's a good sprite for him. I like it. It's good. It's good. Oh, wait a minute. We got there, boys. There's a little bit. Just a little one. Just a little poke. It's good. It's good. I'll accept that. Aldrich turned to face me, feeling over my face, brushing away every tear with a tender caress, still looking concerned and acting protective, like he would do everything in his power to make things right again. Why were you on the road? Why didn't you call to answer my calls? Didn't you hear me? It was hard to talk, hard to think straight, hard to stop looking at the door, wondering whether it was there again, if I were to step outside, the merciless inferno. Maybe the nightmare was right. Maybe I'd been making all the wrong choices after all. Aldrich, his friends, Vincent, they're the only reason I'm doing anything good here. When class came to call, I found myself just fucking up, letting my dreams down, facing the reality of my life, telling me no. I couldn't talk about that to Aldrich. I didn't want to be a fuck-up in his eyes, too. It took me a decent bit to finally compose myself, drying my eyes, taking deep breaths to calm down, the way Vincent had taught me. Aldrich wanted answers, and I had to give him something, put on the spot, frightened. All I could do was start from the beginning, start telling the truth. I keep losing time. What do you mean you keep losing time? Ever since I moved to town, I keep feeling like I turn up in spots I don't remember going to. But I only realize it when I wake up. Aldrich led me over to the bed, encouraging me to sit with him, wrapping his arm around my back. He held me close to his side, firmly and tensely, as if daring anything to upset me further and face his wrath. Give me an example. That night after the drive-in, I don't remember ever getting back to the motel. All I can remember is that I was walking and this feeling of being lost. But then a moment later, in the blink of an eye, I was on the floor of my motel room. Maybe you were sleepwalking. I mean, you were absolutely sleepwalking tonight. But you have a lot of new stress. Maybe it's just got your brain acting stupid. Just then, Devin stirred and sat up on the couch. I could barely make out his figure in the darkness, but I knew he was looking over. What's going on? Are you two fucking? Shut the hell up, Devin. Don't worry about it. Go back to sleep. Jeez, don't bite my damn head off. The Doberman shrugged, abstaining from prodding further. Okay, these are words. And letting himself sink back into the couch. I was still shaking, rattled by the entire experience, plus the realization that I genuinely walked somewhere without being aware of it. Aldrich slowly caressed my stomach, claws digging tenderly through my fur, grazing the flesh beneath. Moving his arm up, he felt over my chest, holding his paw still over my still racing heart. He let out a soft bark, leaning in to nudge my scruff in his nose. He even whispered a bit, but I found both noises strangely comforting. I didn't want it to stop. I wanted him to keep caressing me, to keep me grounded. The shepherd's paw traveled southward, briefly running over the curves of my hip, soon slowly dragging it back up to my stomach, petting it once again. I'm scared, Aldrich.
Shush. It's going to be okay, Cody. We'll get you more settled into life here, and it'll go away. You'll see. The sleepwalking and any bad dreams you have, they can't hurt you. I won't let that stuff hurt you.
His playful whispers and gentle roughs continued, along with his caresses. I even found myself starting to feel up his back. Starting to feel up his back? Okay. His fingers sliding through his thick, silken fur. Okay, is that how that's pronounced? Okay, cool. My other paw reaches back to rub whatever it could find. Slowly, we found ourselves laid down, my face pressed to his chest, his paw cupping the back of my head while the other scratched my back. The shepherd continued making soft noises that seemed to resonate deep inside of me, carrying away the terror, the anxiety bit by bit. It was just him and me now, and nothing could hurt me. As the minutes of soft, intimate petting passed, we each managed to drift back off to sleep. Oh, morning! There we go. The entire apartment was roused by the shrill bells of my alarm clock. Devin fell to the floor with a heavy thud, groaning, one leg splayed out of the couch. Aldrich crawled out of bed, wordlessly heading off to the bathroom. It took me a minute to drag myself over to the kitchen, a long yawn escaping from my lips. Without even realizing it, my southern hospitality kicked in, prompting me to gather ingredients for freshly made biscuits. Then I found Devin rifling through my fridge like he owned the place, soon pulling out a carton of orange juice.
Where do you keep the glasses?
I motioned over to one of the cupboards, and he pours himself a glass, leaning against the counter with a grumble. He seemed to be nursing a hangover.
Have you, got your own biscuit recipe?
Just the one Garth taught me, and the standard, of course.
I never do as well with bacon, especially biscuits and bread. They always come out tough and flat.
You probably made them too hard. Biscuits aren't about hard work. They're made with love and a gentle touch. The Doberman observed my technique with great interest as I brought together flour, baking powder, and salt in a bowl, soon adding diced cubes of butter. I motioned, yes, Devin to come over with a paw. Taking a sip of OJ, orange juice, he came to stand in front of the bowl of the counter. You have to work it until it only just comes together. Go any further than that, and you'll turn it into bricks. Just use your fingertips. Press the butter into the flour, like this. Slowly, I guided him through the motions of incorporating the butter, being careful not to apply too much pressure. I had Devin take over, continuing to guide him through being tender with his motions. You want to work fast for this step, but don't melt the butter. You want it to get it to be one with the flour. Devin was doing a great job. The whole experience was starting to make me feel like I was right back in the kitchen with Tobin and Liam, helping whip up a bountiful feast. But as the night of sleep left me, and I got into my own head again, thoughts of the nightmare of waking up in the road resurfaced, though I really don't want to dwell on it.
This is probably second nature to you.
Devin chuckled, his tail swishing a slow beat, looking happier than a hog in mud. Honestly, I think every Southern is born knowing how to make biscuits. Giggling at my own silly joke, I inspect the contents of the bowl again, checking how well it was coming along, not together. Oof. Here I am, my brain just shoving in words and overlaying things. It do be that way. See how it's only just come together in a ball? Nice and sticky, looking uglier than sin. Dump that onto the counter. Devin tipped the bowl over, letting the shaggy dough, plop unceremoniously onto the counter. I felt it over, caressing it into shape.
How'd I do?
Not half bad.
Really?
Devin's voice cracks, happily shocked at my approval. Now gently pat it out into a square until the dough is about as an inch thick. Don't overdo it. The Doberman started patting the dough, following my instructions to the letter as I went into the drawer and pulled out a biscuit cutter. Aldric walked in and poured himself a glass of juice, watching Devin and me work together.
Well, 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 isn't this a cute sight? Devin, Cody, cooking up a storm.
Devin shot Aldric a glare before laughing a bit, moving away from the dough as I look it over one final time.
Couldn't pass up the chance to learn something from a master.
Nah, Garth is the real master. I'm mediocre at best.
Cody, I'm marrying a man who made biscuits like that. Oh, I'd marry a man who made biscuits like that. Don't put yourself down like that.
As he frequently did, Aldrich made me feel hot in the face. However, there was a seriousness in his tone this time, a brief reminder that the shepherd wasn't going to stand for my self-doubt any longer. Hey, Dev, let's get these cut, just straight down. Then a little twist. Careful, if you twist while you're pushing down, they won't rise right. I cut out half the dough, then handed Devin the cutter to manage the rest. With my guidance, we managed to get a perfect 12 onto the pan, promptly sliding the tray into the oven.
How about I cook the other half of breakfast?
I'd love that. Devin started scrounging around the fridge while I went over to the sink and washed my paws, humming to myself in an effort to fill the silence. Aldrich had his eyes on me, and I wondered if he was still thinking about my sleepwalking, or maybe he just let it be.
So, you two going to let me in on what happened last night? It's none of your business, Dev.
Staring down at the counter, a pang of guilt stirred in my stomach, a recurring, almost familiar pain that came from a life of constant secrets, endless deceit. What was the point of hiding everything still? Aldrich accepts who I am, and Dev deserves my trust. No, it's okay, no secret. We're a pack, right? Devin cracked enough eggs to cook up an omelet for each of us, alongside a full slab of bacon, all while I tried my best to recall the nightmare. Aldrich found me in the middle of the street last night. Didn't remember going out there, and I was having this frightful night terror.
What was it about?
Rubbing my head for the moment, I tried to recall details, to pull anything out of the fog that seemed to be obscuring the memory. It was painful even, like scratching at a wound. Aldrich rested his hand on my back, gently scratching in small circles, offering up comfort as I worked the piece together.
It's okay, Cody. Cody. You don't have to talk about it.
But I should, right? There's gaps in my head, and it's freaking terrifying. I hunched over a bit, again on the verge of tears, even Aldrich's soft caressing and struggling to keep my anxiety at bay. I wanted to remember something, just a single precious moment of what I had seen. Devin seemed utterly baffled as he continued to cook our breakfast, listening in. I was probably making an absolute fool of myself in front of him.
Nodder, listen to me.
The shepherd rested a finger on my chin, tilting my head up so our gazes met. His eyes had the same look of determination, of protectiveness that crept in whenever I mentioned my father.
It's okay. We're here with you. Whatever happened last night. Well, I won't lie, it was worrying. But if you think trying to remember is gonna help, then I support you. And I'm sure Devin does as well.
Devin gave a nod, while Aldrich brushed away incipient? tears on my face, his reassuring smile helping me start to recenter myself.
Why don't you try thinking about just one thing? Something small, like a sound, a smell, a sensation.
Devin's Taking Devin's suggestion, I tried focusing again. Instead of trying to remember the big picture all at once, I picked at it for something small, anything, to pry open the door. My nose twitched, and then my eyes widened a bit. There was a fire. I could smell the smoke as though it were right in the room with me still. I remember smelling fire. Yeah, I think that's what woke me up. Maybe I went into the street because I thought it was coming from outside.
What was it like, walking down the stairs?
It was easy enough to picture myself going down the steps from the apartment, a routine that was clear as day in my head. I imagined myself descending step by step, keeping the smell of fire in mind.
So, you smelled fire, went downstairs, and next, you opened the door and headed outside. Did you see anything?
It was snowing. No, not snow. I think it was ash. I tensed up again, nervously crossing my arms. Tiny bits of pieces were starting to poke through the fog, and I became increasingly terrified of finding out what else remained hidden. Aldric wrapped an arm over my shoulder, pulling me against his side, stroked my arm. A soft rumbling from his chest gave me strength to keep going.
You're doing good, Cody. It must have been a pretty big fire if it was raining ash.
Closing my eyes, I pictured the scene I'd puzzled together and thus far, playing it over in my head, smelling fire, walking downstairs, opening the door, seeing ash. Picturing together each detail I'd managed to recall seemed to be pushing the fog back. In that moment, I knew that I go much further if I wanted to. I remember what was on fire. It was my movie theater back in New Orleans. A damn inferno. Speaking those words aloud broke the dam, and all of the terror flooded back in at once. That nasty sensation, that I was a fuck-up, that making movies would ruin my life. I'd found charity, and with it, regret. Turning, I immediately buried my head into Aldric's chest, who fully wrapped his arms around my trembling self, resting his head atop mine.
Oh, it's okay, Otter. I've got you. Don't even think about it anymore. It's over. That was it.
No, I'm just a fuck-up. I'm not supposed to be making movies. My pa was right about everything. A loud bang interrupted my train of thought. It was Devin, who had slammed his firm hand on the counter.
Horse shit! So what? You saw your cinema up in flames. Got you all rattled, yeah? I bet that's your fucking art teacher, screwing with your head.
I guess that could be it. But what if he's right? If he and me pa are right? It's not like they're completely wrong. More stories of Hollywood failures than there are successes. Even you said as much, Dev, that I either have it or I don't. And end up stuck making pornos, right? If I only did what my pa said, I'd still have a family to come home to.
I'm sorry, Cody. I shouldn't have talked shit about your dreams. And fuck your dad. I have a mind to go kick his ass. To hell with him. That's what I say. Yeah, who cares what they say? Don't let some old crones tell you what you can and can't do. Family isn't about your blood. It's the people around you who care. And you still have that right. All of your friends down in New Orleans.
Perhaps Devin and Aldric were right. And it was just my past and my teacher getting to me. Everything had been going well since moving here. And I had Leonard kicking me down at any chance he got. Yeah, I guess I do. Even got Vincent here, acting a better mentor than my father ever was. Being honest, trusting, open, I knew this was the right thing to do, and yet I couldn't entirely cast my doubts aside. Assholes or not, both my pa and Leonard had had more time to experience the realities of life, maybe they meant to warn me. There could be merit to what they're saying.
So that's sorted. But what about the sleepwalking? You could have been hit by a car.
I don't know. Hope for the best, I guess.
It'll be okay. I have faith. Come on, let's eat breakfast. Try and put this behind us.
Wiping a couple tears off my cheeks, I slowly recollected myself, following Aldric and Devon to the couch. I took a seat, sandwiched between two two dogs, not hot dogs. Wait, where's my mind going? Aldric balanced the plate on his lap as he buttered one of the biscuits, while Devon shoved one into his mouth at once.
Holy crap! These biscuits are amazing!
And you made them.
You did most of the work.
Just words, Devon. You're a good student. I nudged against him as I laughed, and Aldrich soon joined in, smiling at the Doberman and me getting along so well, all while enjoying our masterful breakfast, of course. Even though I tried to sound more enthusiastic, genuinely glad that I'd helped him learn something new, my words had come out half-hearted. Poking at my food with a fork little by little, I was trying my best to let the anguish and terror fade to the background.
Remember, I'll be picking you up at 5 tonight. We'll head straight for Misty's gig, and then we can all hang out at the mall in Cedar Valley. The full gang.
Of course, I'm looking forward to it. As we finished off our dishes, Devon hit the bathroom to get ready to leave, apparently having a class to get to. Leaving Aldric and me to stand in privacy in the kitchen. Oh, actually, I think I'll end the part here. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you around, everyone.